Okay, this gonna be brief, as y'all know, but I just really want to emphasize and really try to encourage everybody to have compassion for one another. Like, seriously, please try to have compassion for one another. Please seek understanding versus being understood. I know it's hard. I know you got your own things going on in your own life. I know you might be dealing with a lot of stress. I know things might not be working out how you want it to work, how you plan for it to work. I know you might be tight on money. I know you might have just dealt with a heartbreak. But please understand that somebody else might be dealing with the same thing, or maybe even worse, y'all. Like, the enemy wants to put us against one another. He wants us to bicker, or he wants us to hold grudges. He wants us to develop a bitter heart. He wants us to feel like everybody's against us. He don't want us to show an act of kindness. He wants us to, walk past people and not speak. He wants us to walk around and not smile at people. He wants us to, look at somebody else and become envious and, get mad at God and be like, God, why this ain't happen for me? Why it happened for them? Like, I'm telling y'all right now, to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. When I say seek God, I'm talking about first thing when you get up in the morning, start seeking his face, okay? Put on your full armor before you leave the house, y'all. That way you can be leveled. I'm not saying the attacks won't come. I'm not saying, you won't be tempted throughout the day, but that's why your main prayer, Jesus already taught us what we should pray. Our Father in heaven, honored be your name, your kingdom come. Lord, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. I just felt the need to say the full prayer, okay? It's a couple more after that, but y'all can look it up. Y'all can Google it. But he tell us what we should seek, and he tell us what we should pray. Those are the two main things, y'all. Those are the two main things that we focus on. And I'm getting better and better at focusing on it myself so that, I can become more rooted. You want to become rooted. I was reading Matthew chapter 13 today when he was talking about how, people, they asked Jesus, like, why do you speak in parables? And he started explaining to them, like, okay, it depended on well, first of all, he says some people that can't receive his word, they can't see or hear because of their hearts. But also he was saying the people that may have received it, it's different kinds of people that will receive it depending on what type of soil it lands on, okay? Depending on what type of soil you got, meaning depending on how you receive the word. So anyways, I ain't even planning on going into that. That was just something that I was reading this morning. But I just want to really stress to everybody to have compassion and understanding for one another, especially if you're in the healthcare field. Y'all know I'm in the healthcare field. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been, a family member, going to, check on my loved one that's in a nursing facility or that's in a hospital. And I'm also a nurse, as many of you may know. I'm also a nurse. So I see both ends of it, okay? And I get to see how some of the workers are overworked, underpaid. Some of them are the breadwinners of their house. Some of them going in there working triple, double shifts, trying to make, ends meet for their family because they want to keep up with their lifestyle. Some people, you got some nurses' aides working with like 15 patients to one nurse's aide, or 15 or 30 patients to one nurse's aide, or even 10 to one nurse's aide. And it ain't even how many patients they got to one nurse's aide. It's also the amount of care that the person may need. And think about yourselves. When you being served at a restaurant, when somebody gets to you, you want them to give you quality care. You don't want them to be rushing and trying to hurry up and get to the next room or get to the next customer. You want them to take your order, and you want them to be able to get your order correct, and you want your time and you want to be treated with respect. You don't want to feel like you're being rushed. Well, that's the same thing with a lot of these nurses aid and the nurses when we go into our patient's room. We don't want to go in there and be like, all right, hurry up. Okay, what else do you need? Because we got to run out. We got to go to the next room. And, sometimes you leave out the room and then you got 7 other call lights going on. You got family members, man. Like, my mom's been waiting for 2 hours. Nobody's been here for 2 hours. She needs some ice water. Or, hey, you know what? He still hasn't had his shower. And it's been all day, he hasn't had his shower, but they don't understand that it's 1A, and maybe they are fully staffed. But then again, like I said, when you go into each patient's room, you can't rush them. Some of them might require more care. Maybe you helping somebody go to the bathroom. Y'all got to think about, these are elderly people we working with a lot of times in the nursing homes, okay, or the nursing rehab facilities. So if you got one person that go in a room with an elderly person, they want extensive care, they want to go to the bathroom. Well, you can't just sit there and say, well, just lay there and pee and then I'll come clean you up. No, they want to get out the bed and they want to go to the bathroom. They got to pee. Well, first of all, you got to get the wheelchair. You got to put the little wheelchair by the bed. You got to lock the wheelchair. You got to get in a position where you can help pivot them to help them stand, depending on how they transfer and they level of weight, and get them over to the wheelchair so that you can push them to the bathroom. Now they got to stand up. You got to pull their pants down for them. And then you got to help them turn around and sit on the toilet. And then you got to wait for them because some of them are confused. So you can't just leave them in the bathroom because they might try to get up and transfer themselves and fall and bust their head. That's what can happen. So sometimes you got to stand there. You can't go to another room. Somebody else still ringing. Somebody else still needs something. But you can't go to the next room because you got to stay there and to make sure this one person that you're responsible for right now, you got to make sure that they don't fall and hurt themselves, if y'all get what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to explain to you, like, these are elderly people, so they move slow. Some of them talking a little longer. Some of them, it take a while for them to decide, you know, what they rang for, what they want you to do while you in there. It's a lot going on. And then, you know, like I said, you just got a lot of impatience. You got a lot of understaffed. It's all kinds of stuff going on in the healthcare field. But at the same time, I ain't mean to go into that level of detail, but what I really want to do is I want to paint a picture for the family members, okay? Now what I want to do, I want to paint a picture to the best of my ability for the people who have their loved ones in these facilities, in the hospitals and in the nursing homes. I want to paint this picture, not for y'all, but for the healthcare workers, okay? I want to paint a picture for the healthcare workers to see, how do the family feel? I'm going to tell y'all right now, a lot of these family members are under a lot of stress. Some of them are trying to look over their loved one in a nursing home or in the hospital, while at the same time, some of them may have kids. Some of them might have some things going on in the family that's stressing them out. Maybe somebody else in the family acting a fool. Maybe somebody else in the family on drugs. Maybe somebody else in the family always needs some money. So they worried about their family members. Then they got to go to their own jobs because they got to still have income come through. So they dealing with petty stuff that's going on their jobs. And it's a lot of stuff that they going through. So sometimes when they come into these nursing facilities, they not trying to be hard on the workers and be inconsiderate. Sometimes they just want to make sure that their loved one has been taken care of properly. Some of these people can't even sleep at night, y'all. They sleep is robbed, y'all. Some of these loved ones that come visit their family members, when they go home, they literally lay down at night and have the phone by their head because they are so afraid that you about to call them and tell them that their loved one just died or that their loved one just fell and you had to send them out to the hospital. They are so terrified, y'all. When I tell you I've been on both ends of the spectrum, I've been on both ends. I'm on a, you know, the nurse, but what I'm trying to tell you is everybody going through something, y'all. It's hard on a lot of people. Some of these family members that come into these facilities and they ask you to do something, they don't need you to have no attitude because they ask you to go get their mama a glass of ice water. If you overwhelmed, just tell them in a nice way, like, hey, I'm working on getting them some ice water. I got this person down here, they need this, and this person down there, they need that. Or, you know, just go to work and have more of a routine. Like if you work at the same place every day, you can develop a routine where at a certain time you go pass ice water to everybody. I'm just using that as an example. But try to figure out a way where you can have more of a routine when you go to work. When you look good, you feel good, you know, get up in the morning, you know, take the time to, you know, put your mascara on if you do ladies, you know, put your perfume on, you know, go to work feeling good about, you know, who you are and what you do, and, you know, try to look the best you can and, you know, try to feel good. But I'm just trying to encourage everybody, y'all. I don't know how far I went into with the details of what I was saying, but I really wanted to paint a picture with everybody on how a lot of people are, you know, struggling. We got to have compassion and love for one another. And I see that lacking more and more